Hello everybody, they call me Muse, and this is the first bit of Factory Town 2 Paradise. This is a colourful, some may say cosy, factory builder game with a bit of town building thrown in as well, just to make it a bit interesting, a bit different. It comes to us from one Eric Asmussen, who's pretty much the only guy who worked on the game, aside from like a handful of artists and the soundtrack coming from Clark Aboud, who gave us the soundtracks to Factory Town 1, Slay the Spire 1 and Slay the Spire 2. So that was an interesting fact for me to learn as a soundtrack nerd. Enough waffle, let's jump into a brand new game and show you what it's all about. So we've got various modes. I've not played custom or sandbox, but I have played the demo, which is the first part of the campaign. So we can jump in and we find ourselves on an island. It's not a very special island, it's just some sand, some rocks and trees. It's a bit deserted, it's just us and a volcano. So this is us. We are the Avatar. And we can move around the place. There's a sign there. We have a look at the sign. It tells us bananas. Throw bananas into the volcano. That seems odd. But we've now got a quest that pops up. So let's harvest 3 bananas, which we can do by pressing or holding E next to these banana trees. If we wanted to, we could go and harvest some wood as well, but we won't worry about that just yet. We'll do what the sign says. And we've woken up the volcano. Hi! Thanks for feeding me. Guess I fell asleep for a bit there. Say, what year is it? I do not know, volcano friend. I've got no idea. What? Where's that stupid alarm clock? Oh, that's just a rock. Easy to confuse the two, if you ask me. Anyways, I'm still so weak and hungry. Do you think you could get me a couple more of those? Just a few million or so should do it? That'll take how long? What, it's just you? No, that'll never do. You're going to need some serious help. Hang on. Seriously though, hang on to something right now. And thus, the volcano uses its power to boost the island. Now it's lovely and lush and green, and it's covered in new things for us. That's more like it. Okay, so first things first. You humans like living in houses, right? So you got to build some of those. Do that and people will start rushing to get here. Trust me, this is prime volcano adjacent real estate. I would generally not consider real estate that's volcano adjacent to be prime, but we won't worry about that. What we'll do instead is wander over to these trees and hold down E, and we'll add a bunch of wood to our inventory. You can see that it causes the trees to get chopped, but they don't go away. The chunks are still there. They will grow back given enough time. You can also see we're gaining mastery. Our inventory is now full, or at least that slot's full, of 100 wood. And we gained 100 mastery, as we saw in the bottom right corner. So where do we want to build some houses? That's a question. There's all sorts of fun things on this island. We've got wood, we've got coconuts, we've got oranges, we've got cotton over there, we've got rocks, wheat, of course. Down here we might even have some bamboo. So I'm thinking it doesn't really matter. You can always move things later, of course. But maybe we're going to start with a little clump of houses up here, because I've never built houses up here before. So let's pop one down there. And we can now see that we've got a meter here. And when it fills up, we get a villager. Look at it go. We've got a villager. So they can now do things for us, but if we click on this quest, we can see that new people are only going to show up if we can keep everyone happy. So we should build a market, because that will make people happy. We can sell things at the market, and that fills up people's happiness meter. As you can see here, happiness is currently at 100, which means villagers will just keep coming in at full speed. We've got a second one now. And then we're going to get a third one soon, and so forth. Happiness is based upon things like food and drink and industry and clothing. These are the various needs that a villager might have. And as we can see now, our villagers only need food. They don't need drink or industry or clothing or education, health, luxury or magic. But they will do later. So the next thing I'm going to do is build some more houses. We haven't been told to build more houses, but that's what I'm going to do anyway. We've got 4 houses. We can now hold 8 people. But our population limit is 10 people. So maybe we'll build some more. I'm pressing B to go into the build menu, by the way. You can either press B or you can click down here. And you've also got X to delete things. Then you've got your options menu and miscellaneous stats. And you've got a camera mode. So right now we're the avatar. We're just moving around as ourselves. If I press V or I click there, then we go into a free cam mode. And we can just look around the map like that. So you only really need the avatar if you want to move things about or put them into buildings. Most of the time you can just be in free cam mode. And if you need to return to your avatar, there's a big button over his head that you can click. I've turned off that big button now because I know that you can just press V to switch between avatar and free look mode. So we're just going to chill out without that button on. And I'm just going to gather a bunch of rocks because they're going to come in handy down the line. Again, you can see our mastery in the bottom right is going up. We don't know what that means yet, but I'm sure the volcano will tell us in time. He seems like a chill guy. Rocks grow back like trees do as well, by the way. They grow back over time. I'm not quite sure how it works for rocks. It's probably the volcano's magic or something like that. But we had a quest. It was build a market. So we should probably do that sometime sooner rather than later. Let's put it about there. So it's not a million miles away from our houses, but it's fairly central on the island as a whole. And that has given us 10 XP for the volcano, so that's made the volcano a bit happier. Now we need to stock our market with items for sale. So if we collect some wheat with the avatar and drop it off in the market, villagers will come along and they'll buy it and they'll give us coins. And here you can see what I was explaining, that you can swap with V between camera mode and free look. So avatar mode is manually harvesting resources, and free look is a classic mode like you'd see in Factory Town 1 or in any other factory game or things like that. So let's go and harvest some wheat like the game says. Mastery goes up once again. Let's grab a big pile of it. And then if we click on the market with E, we can throw up to 40 of it into the market at any one time. And now our villagers are all like, wheat? Oh yes, get some of that in my belly. And look at them rushing over. And they're getting happiness. They're getting 1 food happiness from all of that. And giving me 1 coin in return. So we've got 10 coins now. Over time, the happiness will diminish. And they'll go back and they'll try and get themselves some more. So we want to keep the market stocked up with stuff to keep our villagers happy, to keep population coming in. And as the volcano says, we've got villagers, so let's put them to work. We assign one to the market, they'll keep it stocked for us. So we can click on the market. You can do that in avatar mode or in free look mode. And we can click there to assign them. And that one person will now say, all right, so the market needs wheat. I'm going to gather wheat and then I'm going to take it to the market. And now he wants us to get some more villagers in. We've got a new quest to get a population of 5, which we've already done. And that's going to give us research for a footpath. So we can put down footpaths now. Villagers will walk faster on them, and so will the avatar. So that will generally make life easier for our villagers. So I'm going to press B, and we can see paths. You can see now we've got a separate hotbar down here. You've got one for avatar mode, and you've got one for free look mode. When you start building, you basically go into free look mode. So I've added the path there, and if I click V, to just go into my general free look, I can now lay footpaths whenever I feel the need. So let's put one over there towards the market. And that's got us another 10 XP for the volcano. And the volcano wants to be fed stuff to get more powerful. So there's 2 ways that works. We can either go up to him and select things and just go, here you go. And this is once again building up our mastery. and it's also making him happy, which is filling up his volcano level. Alternatively, we could assign some people to work, and they will now do that for us. They will go and gather stuff. They might gather water, or they might gather wheat, or wood, or rocks, or anything else they can find, and they will feed it to the volcano. So maybe we want a footpath to go all the way up to him, so that they can just walk straight up and feed him nice and easily. Depending on what they grab, of course. If they grab some wheat from down here, they'll probably just walk across because it's quicker. But if we have a look now at our happiness bar, you can see that not only do we need food, we also need drink for our villagers. So we could potentially just grab a bunch of water from the trench and drop it off at the market. But we could also get coconuts on the go. If we click MISC down at the bottom here, we can see a bunch of stuff like item stats, for example. If we click on that, we can see that coconuts will provide 1 food happiness and 1 drink happiness for our villagers. It can also be an animal food, but we don't worry about that right now because we don't have animals. So wheat we can see is just 1 food. Water from the trench would just be 1 water. So we should probably get some coconuts on the go. That seems like a good idea. So I'm going to build a path out towards these coconuts. And then I'm going to stroll across and grab some. And I'm going to pop those in the market. And now our market worker, as well as topping up with wheat, will also top up coconuts if they can. Maybe we want a second market worker, just so that we've got 2 people on the go. And we got some more happiness for the volcano. And that's caused him to level up, which has given us a reward point as well. So he's gaining strength. It's been 5,000 years since he had a meal. So he's a bit peckish, as you can imagine. And yeah, he can't feed himself because he's a volcano, so we'll do all the work. But he is powerful. Well, used to be. And maybe we're going to need to do this for him to make him powerful because of saving all life on the planet. He'll remember in time, I'm sure. But he's going to give us a reward now because he leveled up. So we can see that we've got rewards here, processing. We can potentially get a lumber mill, and we've got a new quest. So the new quest, unlock the lumber mill. If we click on the reward points at the top here, then this is basically our research tree. We feed things to the volcano. He gets happy, and he gives us points which can be spent in these various pages. But right now, because we're in the tutorial land, all we can really do is purchase a lumber mill. So let's do that. And we can now potentially make planks. So yeah, we can build a lumber mill. Workers gather wood, turn them into new things, which we can use, but which Volcano can also eat. So maybe we will build a little footpath over towards the trees. That seems like a good idea. And then if we go back into our build, we can see that the lumber mill is here. It requires 10 stone and 10 wood, which we've got plenty of. Where shall we put this lumber mill? We could put it right next to the trench of water here. I don't know if that's particularly necessary. We could put it up here right next to the trees. And that might help. So he's got some more XP. And if we assign workers to this lumber mill, then they will help make it into planks. So how this works is that you assign workers and they will take wood from the trees and put them in the lumber mill. And then the lumber mill will automatically work on turning the logs into planks. So we've got 1 worker, they're harvesting, and then they're dropping them in here, and the bar fills up as these logs get turned into planks. We can speed the process by, say, throwing in all the logs that we've got, and that will cause the workers to, instead of grabbing logs and throwing them in there, because it's already full, they will start working in the lumber mill and speeding up its production time, so it will take less time to make the planks. But this worker has gone back to bed now because it's nighttime, so your workers will behave like real people to some extent. They will go back to bed at night, And then when they're no longer sleepy, they'll come out, they might do some work, they might go to the market to top off their happiness. But we've produced some planks. Now we can collect those planks if we wish. So let's do that because Volcano wants us to. And we've now got 12 planks in our inventory. And we can stack those in the market. As we can see, the town grows and our villagers' needs grow as well. And we'll get more coins. So if we come over here and we throw our planks in there, then we are going to get 3 coins apiece. And everyone's rushing over now to buy them because they're like, ooh, we haven't got planks. They don't actually have an industry need yet, I don't think. Although, yeah, it now says industry 0 of 4. So I guess they do have an industry need right now. And so they're going to gradually top that off with the planks that they're getting. We've got some workers without tasks, as we can see at the top here. We've currently got 5. And the town must grow. So what we can do at this point is send out invitations because we've got enough people to grow the size of the town. We've got 10 people at the moment out of a maximum of 10. I'm going to go ahead and assign a couple more people to the lumber mill just because we've got 3 people still standing around idly. And as we can see, Volcano thinks that the town's maxed out right now. Let's get some new people in. So the way this is going to work is we're going to spend some of our coins, 20 in this case, on adding more people. So this will give us a max population of 20 instead of 10. And our villagers can level up as well, which will level up stats that they've got and make them more productive at their jobs. Invitation sent. And yeah, we need to keep people happy, so we'll keep doing that. So this now is where, this is the main loop. You make people happy, you get more people, you increase your population level, their needs increase, so you build more machines and more production lines to keep them happy so you can grow the population again. So people now need a bit more food in their lives, a bit more drink, and a bit more industry. And a new villager has already arrived because they were queued up and ready to go. So we've got 4 people waiting for a job. And now we can make the harvester hut. We've got the cultivation rewards unlocked and some new quests available. We can have a look at our quests by opening the quest panel. And we can see all of the quests that are available to us. So we've got the primary quests, which are generally tutorial at the moment. So build more houses, get more pop, collect more coins, increase population level, and then there'll be more further down to unlock new stuff. You've got side quests, which are just things that you can do to level up your volcano a bit quicker, such as delivering extra wheat and coconut and stone to them, or things like that. You've got upgrade quests, which we've just completed one of. And these will allow you to buy upgrades for your buildings. And then we've got cultivation quests, which allow you to plant new types of crop. Or at least they allow you to plant crops in different places. So, the lumber mill storage quest. It's sort of completed automatically for us. It might have been a case of like, make X planks or something like that. But if we complete that, then we can buy an upgrade for the lumber mill. So if we spend 50 coins, we can increase lumber mill storage, and instead of holding a maximum of 40 and 50, we can increase those numbers. So all the buildings, well, most of the buildings, have upgrades which will let them be more efficient for you. Like the market, for example, can have more item slots. Houses can also be upgraded to house more people. But we won't worry too much about that right now. We will grab some more wood. We've got 12 people. And our houses at the moment can only hold 12 people, so let's get on with building more houses so we can get more folks in. We're not using them all yet because we've still got 5 that are idle, but we do want to keep raising the population where we can, so we've got people when we need them. So let us build, say, planks mastery has reached level 1. So we've made or sold or given to the volcano enough planks that our mastery has grown. So the mastery panel, it's down here in MISC. And here we go. All items have an associated mastery stat. Whenever they're harvested or crafted, then mastery is increased or fed to the volcano. Items with high mastery are worth more coins, or get a production speed bonus, or more volcano XP. And the more mastery we get, the more crafting tokens we earn, which allows us to buy new recipes. So as we can see, we have made 100 planks, or fed the volcano 100 planks or similar, and that has gone up, which has allowed us to get 1 star. Eventually you can get up to 3 stars and everything and make them generally nicer. But we've also leveled the volcano again and got another reward point. And I've realised that my houses, if I put one there, I'm not going to have room for one there. So I'm going to put one there instead. And I'm going to press M to go into move mode. And you can see that you can just move things around as and when you like. There's no problems in doing that. Although, do I maybe want to start a second row of houses instead? Maybe that's a better plan. I'm going to start a second row of houses and I'm going to build a road down here to accommodate them. Oh, I'm out of stone. Not a problem. Back into avatar mode and we will go and gather some more. After a while you generally don't have to use avatar mode too much, but in the early game it's required for a lot of things, so I'll be doing a lot of running around as our little man for now. And now we'll build some more road out here because I want more houses in this sort of neighbourhood. Our happiness is dropping though. New villagers won't show up quickly or at all because we are not fulfilling their needs at the market. That's something we need to look into. But I'm just going to quickly plop down some more houses while I can. I've actually probably got too many houses there because I don't know if I want to add more up here. Yeah, go on then. Let's add more up here. So one there. And I've still not quite put them in the right place. That's fine. We'll leave a gap there. We've got a decor tab. And this allows us to buy decor that would not really do much except make the place look nice. But heck with it. Let's buy some flowers. And let's pop down some flowers. Lovely. So we should probably do something about this happiness, you know, that our villagers are suffering from. They're down to 48 now. They are lacking severely in industry. The lumber mill is producing planks, but it's not really, they're not being delivered very quickly to the market. So let's grab some ourselves and move them across. That might make our people a bit happier. They're also lacking in food though, so maybe we want to set up a better way of getting coconuts down there. Luckily, in our rewards, we have got a harvester hut, so let's purchase that. And we can put this up here somewhere. You can see from its radius what it can harvest. So it can harvest both trees and also coconuts. But I probably want separate ones, I think. So maybe we'll put one right there in the middle of all these coconuts. That seems like a nice place. And then we'll put a path to it. And we will assign people to it. And what will happen now is they will just work here and they will gather coconuts and they will be stored in this building. And then those coconuts can be moved en masse back to the market perhaps. The villagers, generally speaking, can't carry a lot at any given moment. This one's got 2 strength. And it can only carry 1 coconut at a time. But as the avatar, I could come along and I could just be like, yeah, I'll take all 11 of the coconuts you've got. And then I could rush them back and throw them in the market. That will help satisfy people's food and drink needs. And they need all the help they can get right now with the food needs. Kind of skipped over the quest for that. But yeah, it's telling us that right now. And we got a reward just for completing that quest. So now it's telling us to connect 2 buildings with chutes. I have been thinking that, wow, I do need to move around a lot of items. There's all sorts of ways to do it automatically, such as chutes. They'll use gravity to let items roll between buildings. No workers are required. So we've got a bunch of wood already, but we haven't got planks. So let's grab some planks out of there. And now maybe we want to find a way of getting some materials that we can take to the market. So one thing we could do is just use the coconuts over here. It'd be a big chute, but there's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to go ahead and drag it onto the bar. It's kind of like a basic conveyor belt, really. So what we can do, it doesn't have to skip the stuff there, I think. If we press page up or page down, we can move it onto different levels. So I'm going to put it on a higher level, and you can see it comes out and it's not going to interfere with the workers or anything. I think if it's on a higher level like this, it can just go through a tree. But that looks a bit silly, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go round all the trees we've currently got in place. And I'm just going to connect it to the market over there. And look at that. We have got coconuts rolling down the chute and into the market. If we rush over to the market ourselves and have a look at its inventory, you can see the coconuts are rising. So we're now keeping a good stock of coconuts in our market. And that will help with everyone's food and drink requirements. And it gets us more levels with the old volcano. So our market workers now don't have to run up here, grab one coconut at a time and move it. So they can focus on wheat, which is good. But we can also do the same with wheat. We can build a harvester hut here, which I haven't done yet because I wasn't sure where exactly I want it. You can move everything around later, of course, but I haven't really done that yet. So let's build some more road. That's given us another reward point because it's made the volcano happy. But let's build another harvester hut. And maybe I could just put it on the road itself, but if I put it back here a bit, then it would cover more of the wheat field. So let's do that. And then let's assign some workers to it. 5 workers. I like having 5 workers in my harvester huts because if you haven't got raw resources, then you can't really do anything, can you? And let's maybe press page up again to raise up our chutes. And we've now got wheat automatically going into the market. So we can see the wheat's piling up nicely. We've got wheat, we've got coconuts. Our market workers can worry about moving the planks. And our happiness levels are now rising because everything is being amply met. However, flour power. If we use food mills, we can turn wheat into flour. It's worth more coins and will make our villagers happier. And planks give more of a boost than wood to villagers in terms of industry. But we've already got planks in the market, so we're already on like the level 2 industry item there. Let's go back into our item stats for a moment. And let's select the food category. So we can see that, yeah, as we saw before, wheat is only worth 1. And that keeps people happy for 120 seconds, and then it runs out. What if we go, though, into processing, and we get a food mill? Now we can make flour. 2 wheat makes 1 flour. That sounds good. Back into item stats. Flour's not showing up as of yet, but that might be because we just don't have a food mill. Although if we click showed locked, then it should show up. So 2 wheat makes a flour, and it gives 2 food for 240 seconds and 3 coins. So it gives you a bit more coin, gives you 3 instead of the 2 that you would get for 2 wheat. And because it lasts longer, your villagers will have to make fewer trips to the market, so it'll be more efficient. So, what shall we do? We've delivered enough planks to the volcano to make him happy. That's nice. He'll start leveling up a bit more. And we can use some coins and some logs and some rocks to make a food mill. So let's put one there. If we click on it, it will tell us that we've got a choice of recipes. Right now, though, the only recipe we've got is flour. If we increase our mastery on a bunch of items, we'll get crafting tokens, and that could make new stuff for us. But we don't have that right now, so we'll click flour. And we've got 3 workers, so let's pop one in there. As with the lumber mill, people are gathering logs and moving them to the mill, and then when the mill is nice and full, they're crafting instead and speeding up the production. Same with the food mill. People will gather wheat and move it to the mill, and then when there's enough wheat in there, they will help craft instead and speed it up. So how do we get more wheat into the mill? Well, one thing we could do is we could pop over to our lumber mill. We could help ourselves to some of its planks, and we could build some chutes. Wheat mastery has increased. So wheat is now actually worth 2 coins instead of 1, but flour mastery will also increase over time. So we still want to move up to the more advanced items where we can. So there we go. We've now got wheat going into the food mill. And we can actually go one further with this. We could have flour going from the mill into the market. As such, we probably don't need wheat in the market anymore. So let's see if we can't do something about that. We're probably best off deleting the chute first. That will stop an automatic flow. And now we've done that, let's change that to blank. And now there will be no more wheat going in to the market. There will only be flour instead. That will make our people happy. And the volcano is happy. And because we've grown enough wheat or harvested enough wheat, we can now plant wheat somewhere else if we want. So you can plant crops anywhere on the island if you feel like it. If you want wheat down here instead, that's fine. The only downside to that is that wheat that you've planted takes a while to become as efficient as this wheat. So it won't be worth 17 straight away. It'll be worth less, and then it will have to regrow. And over time, it will become native to that area. And then once it becomes native, it becomes as good as the stuff that you find naturally. So we've now got a new quest to build a workshop. And that's going to make more advanced items still. This wheat that's in our inventory, we don't really need it. Looks like the mill is full up. So maybe we'll just throw this in the volcano. Make him happy, you know? And this is the general gist of the game as a whole. You make people happy, that brings in more people, you use them to make new stuff, that makes people happy, which brings in more people. So I think we've shown off a decent amount of the basic tutorial right now. What if we were to jump ahead to the version that I've been playing in the demo? So this is my demo island. We've just got a whole bunch of chiefs popping off, which is nice. And as we can see, the island is a bit busier here. So where would we even start? That's a good question. Probably with the stuff we've already looked at. So let's zoom in a bit. I started on this island kind of over in this area, I think. But we've got a wheat farm up here this time. We've got an upgraded building here, which is a farm, which works like a harvester hut, but it also puts down farmland, which makes the wheat grow better. So this wheat now, rather than having like 17, it's got like 108 wheat in that particular crop. So once you get farms and the tree equivalent of foresters, grab them and replace your harvester huts where you can. I've got a harvester hut over here by some stone though, because I haven't got anything better for stone yet. So I've still got a few harvester huts around. These houses have got their level 3 upgrade, so they can hold 4 people rather than 2, which is allowing me to bring my population up to a mammoth 155 people. And let's just generally have a poke around, shall we? So down here, we've got a forester chopping down logs. Logs can go on chutes, and they roll down these chutes into different buildings. So we've got lumber mills here. That one's making planks. It doesn't actually have anyone working in it, but it's still making planks fast enough to keep other things happy. So we can see that it's this line here, this chute line, is sending logs down into a splitter. Some of them are going this way into that lumber mill. The others are going further on and into this lumber mill. And that's also making planks. But then their planks are going in different directions. So if we go back to lumber mill 1, its planks are coming out and going into this workshop. There's other things going into this workshop too. As we can see, I've set up a farm next to the bamboo over here, and lots of bamboo is being produced. Thanks to splitters again, it's being sent in different directions, but one of them is this workshop. And then we've also got a little cotton farm here that I've planted myself, where the cotton's non-native, as we can see. So it's only producing 18 cotton before it regrows. But then over time, when it regrows, it's gradually adding a few percent of affinity. That one's up to 4, you see. So that one's been harvested a few times, it's regrown, and it's building up. So that's how plants eventually become native. And the cotton that's being gathered from here is being fed into a tailor, where it's being made into cloth. That's another of the basic sort of things, like wood to planks, cotton to cloth. Same deal. And then that cloth is also going into this workshop along with all the logs and the bamboo that we've sent in. And as we can see, this workshop has got 3 recipes in it. If we look on its upgrades, I've spent some cash to get extra recipes and production speed and productivity. So it's using planks and logs to make wooden wheels. It's also using planks and bamboo to make wooden conveyor belts. And then it's using those conveyor belts with more wheels and cloth to make cloth conveyor belts, which are faster and generally better than wooden ones. You can see things like the bamboo is moving on chutes. Natural resources will move on chutes, but they can't go uphill because they're affected by gravity. Conveyor belts, on the other hand, like say this one here, they can move uphill, and they can move items that can't go on chutes, such as these refined planks, or that refined flour, or those refined bricks. So over time, many things will switch to conveyor belts, but chutes are faster than even the fastest conveyor belts. So if you've got items that can go on chutes, like these bananas, leave them on chutes. This forester is doing a decent job here of keeping up. 2 workers are just about keeping up with the speed required to keep a constant supply of bananas going to this volcano. He did say he wanted like 1 million bananas, so we're making good progress on that. What else are we doing over here though? We've got the one lumber mill making planks to make conveyor belts. This one's also making planks though, and some of its planks are going into this workshop, which as we can see is making shovels and axes. There's also a second workshop making refined planks, which he used to help make the shovels. So planks come out, they go into there to make refined planks, then they go into this workshop with stone from down here, which is just rolling down a chute, and we're getting axes and we're getting shovels, and as we can see from the axes, boosts harvest speed by 100% for trees and bamboo. So if a worker goes to the market and buys an axe, and then they go to work at a forester or at a bamboo farm, then they will make themselves more efficient. They will work faster and harder. It's the same with shovels for people working on gathering stone. So you want to move up to higher level items, partly because it will just buff your workers and they'll work faster. We've also got a farm over here, which is working on growing some cotton and some wheat. It should actually only be working on the wheat. I don't need it to work on cotton. So I'm going to go into the item filters here, and I'm going to tell it wheat. And now it's no longer going to work on cotton. It's still got 100 in temporary storage, but that farm is only supposed to be making wheat. It's a little small because they're quite packed together, but there's a little chute there that's feeding the wheat into the food mill that we've seen before. And this food mill has 2 recipes, flour and refined flour. Its refined flour is then coming out on a conveyor belt and going up here. Stonemasons are the same thing again, where you grab a basic resource like stones and then you can put them in and make them into bricks, and also refined bricks. So I've got refined bricks and refined flour and refined planks, but where are they all going? The answer to that is to an academy. Academies are used for one of the higher types of need. As you can see from here, my people need not only food and drink and industry, but also clothing, education, health and luxury. So they need most of the requirements at this point in the game. They're quite demanding of my folks. I can't really do much for them on the health front yet, which is why my happiness is hovering around 86, 87. But they're doing the best they can. They're getting by. And one of the needs they've got there, you can see, is education. They need quite a lot of it. So let's talk education. Over here, we have another forester making logs. If we zoom in a bit, we can see that some of the logs are going that way, but some of them are also travelling down here into a lumber mill. And this lumber mill is using both logs and water to make paper. Where's it getting the water from? From this reservoir that's next to it. This reservoir is operated by 3 people at the moment. They are rushing back and forth in this trench and topping it up, and when it rains it tops up as well, and that's feeding the water directly into the lumber mill because it's next to it. So all this paper's coming out and it's going into 2 more academies here. Academies can turn paper into books. So paper is like your basic education item. It gives 1 education, and books give 4 education. But the books are then travelling down here into this academy, where they're making a processing tome level 1. And that is giving us 6 education and 4 industry. And it's also potentially making our villagers smarter by giving them extra intelligence, which is one of their stats. So those books are then going to the market, but they're not just travelling to the market, they're being catapulted out into the market. So we've got a conveyor belt feeding the books out to a catapult, and as we can see, it's firing over the volcano into our market, which is quite busy compared to the market we had elsewhere. We've got a lot of items in it. You can see we've got fluid pipes, which are used to satisfy industry generally. We've got coconut milk. We've got axes. We've got some of those tomes that are being catapulted in, and some different types of tome. We've got orange juice. We've got some clothing items. We've got all sorts of stuff going in. Basically everything that I could make in the demo, I'm kind of making and throwing in there. Not quite everything, I don't think. Am I making banana bread anywhere? Oh, okay, I am making banana bread. We can actually check mastery, can't we? Let's have a look at mastery. And we can see that I have got nothing currently unlocked that is not at maximum mastery. Everything's either not been started yet, or it's maxed out. Yes, I have been playing the demo a lot while I was waiting for the full release of the game. It's highly addictive. So we can see that everything's just real busy around here. This is our original cotton area. It's still our main tailoring area. We've got a tailor here that makes cloth. It feeds that cloth into this building and that building. In this building, the cloth is just used to make shirts, and they go into the market. In this building, cotton is made into thread, which joins the cloth in this tailor, and that makes shorts, which fills people's clothing need. And also satchels, which if people buy those, their inventory size is increased, so they can carry more items back and forth, which is pretty cool. Although a lot of the time people aren't really carrying much. Aside from the harvesters and stuff in the early games, a lot of my stuff is being carried on conveyor belts and such now instead. Some of the conveyor belts are wooden, like these ones, because I've not had any need to upgrade them. Other ones I have just generally upgraded, like the cloth ones, because the faster they go, the more throughput you can get. I'm not a factory game nerd, but I understand that sometimes, yeah, you're better off moving things faster. Over here we've got a refreshment stand. It's getting some logs and burning them for fuel, which speeds up its processing, and it's making coconut milk and orange juice, both of which are going to the market. The market's not holding everything because some of the items just won't fit because I've got so many things on the go. Like, for example, there's no pretzels in the market, but they are being made here. But that's cool because customers can just come along and buy things. If we select item purchases, it's on by default. But if you tick that, then people can just buy things from there. So the market doesn't need to be the be-all and end-all for your goods. Other buildings nearby can just form part of like a shopping district. So I don't actually need, really, the shirts to be conveyed across. I didn't realise this at first, which is why they're there. There's a lot of things like that where I've realised things as I've gone along and I've made changes. Like, for example, I didn't really need this conveyor belt here because I could give this academy an auto transfer upgrade, and it can then I could have put the conveyor belt right next to it and it could have transferred, but I didn't realise that at first, which is why there's a conveyor there. But I did realise it later with this other academy. This academy is using books and cloth and thread to make tailoring tomes, which satisfy education and clothing. And this building does have an auto transfer upgrade. So it's also transferring. You see that green arrow there with the circle? I've told it output to the right hand side. And so it's doing that. And it's feeding into the catapult. And the catapult is firing things at the market. So there's a lot of times where you'll go along, you'll learn new things, and you'll decide maybe I want to rebuild things, or maybe I want to just do things differently. And you don't need to restart the game to do that because everything can be moved or destroyed at no real cost to yourself. So you can upgrade things over time. I've also got zip lines all over the place because I've kind of started playing with those a little late. But look at them go. People can carry stuff on zip lines. They can just use them to get around quickly. So maybe using those at some point in a more organised fashion is something that I want to do. You've also got these little chests here, magic chests. These are linked to your personal inventory. So this one is sending stone bricks, I think. Oh, it's sending refined stone bricks, okay, into that chest. So my inventory basically will constantly have a supply of refined stone bricks. So things that you'll need to make buildings, such as logs and rocks and planks and such, put them in magic chests, and you won't need to keep running your avatar over to buildings to open that to grab them out. So once you've got magic chests on the go, your avatar becomes less necessary, and you can spend a lot of the game just in free cam mode, which I generally prefer. So it's a pretty good island I've got going on here. The more you make the volcano happy as well, the more perk points you unlock. So as we can see, I've got points for crop yield to make my crops more effective, really. And workers are also quicker at harvesting them. Ore is not regenerating as fast as it could be, but I can get more perk points to upgrade that. And the more perk points you put into magic chests, the more you can build. And therefore, you can carry more stuff in your inventory. There's all sorts of stuff here. Avatar harvesting speed is probably more useful early on. But you can also just change things at will. So I could just remove some points from something and put them into something else. And that's fair game. I can also now do something that I wasn't able to do in the demo because it was locked in the demo. But now the full game is out, I can click this button here, the Island Expansion button. And this will make it a new island for us. So as we can see, there are a whole bunch of different islands around. Some of them are locked to us right now until we unlock a certain number of other islands. But we've got two we can choose from. We've got bottom left or bottom right. So do we want an island that's got iron ore on it? And sugarcane? And pineapples and coffee berries? Coffee makes me want to pick that island automatically. This one's got tea, which is kind of like coffee, but not as good. Bananas again. Oranges again. Bamboo again. Herbs, which would help us get health up quite a bit, probably. And coal. And stone. So obviously we want iron and coal, so we can do cool stuff combined with them. But we can only get one first. We also need more health for our people. But pineapple juice might make health for them. Let's have a quick look again at the item stats. And let's see. Pineapple juice only gives you 1 health. Okay. Herbs allow you to make all sorts of different types of medicine. So that would be good for health. At some point, though, we could also probably fish. And then fish oil is good for health as well. So we might not need the herb island just yet. So what I'm going to do is go for the coffee island, because coffee is the best. Let's see what we're looking at. Okay, there's a lot of lakes and stuff on this island. And a little volcano. Hello, little guy. Yeah, you're a mini volcano. I don't think we're your mum or your dad. Oh, you're talking to Big Volcano. I see. Okay, he's possibly also not your mum or your dad, I'm not sure. Either way, welcome to the family. We don't need to worry about who's fathered what volcanoes around here. So can this volcano make a big lava blast for us, like the other one can? Pop. Okay. It's a start. If we could make a big mega blast, though, then we could potentially stop any giant asteroids from crashing into the planet and wiping out all life. And we are going to need more oomph. So I guess we're going to have to make this volcano happy as well. And this is going to be the game. Our volcano is pretty happy. But each island is going to be unlocked. It's going to give us more volcanoes. And there's more fun times. So what have we got? Shipping, trains, precious ore processing. A quest to power up 6 volcanoes. That's a while away. A mastery for sugarcane, pineapple and coffee berries. Yep. New resources. Good. Quest complete. We've got a superpower gem. So what does this do for us? Guess we get one for mastering each island, maybe? But we can unlock unique and reality bending abilities. Yeah, every time we power up a mini volcano, we'll get another one. So that again is in the reward tree, I think. It's over here. Purchase Ultra. And we can buy Flight as our first one. That's the only one that's unlocked right now. Terraforming will come later. Cloud blocks will let you build structures in the sky. And I guess worker inventory just lets them carry more. Let's unlock Flight. How does one fly with you? I'll figure it out. I've got a lot to figure out now because I've got a whole new game to play rather than just one single island. A lot of beaches over here. Not a lot of water. But that's fine. I suppose the next thing I should do now is get this video edited so that I can get back to playing for the rest of the evening. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to be thinking about this new island the whole time, and then I'm going to come back and continue to have an amazing time. If you've enjoyed watching this, then buy the game. It's really good. Or maybe play the demo first if you're not sure. I did all of that over there in the demo. So it is ample, and you could find yourself having an amazing time too. Time for me to go and edit though, so I can actually crack on with playing some more. So until next time, thanks for watching, friends. I'll see you soon.